Hello traders, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at what we're going to be expecting for the week. That's the weekly outlook. Our previous week was a very wonderful week where we could clearly see we had the FOMC and the NFP. FOMC, which is the Fed interest rate decision, and the NFP, which was the US data job release. Alright, so without wasting much of our time, let's get into this week's video to see what we're expecting fundamentally and technically. On our screen here we have the XY, but before heading into that, let's just look at what we are expecting for our fundamentals for this week. On our fundamentals, on my FS book, on Tuesday we are seeing the retail sales monitor, that's the GBP retail sales monitor, and on Wednesday we are going to be expecting the inflation rate and also the CPI coming in on Wednesday at 1:30, and on Thursday we're going to be looking at the board interest rate decision, which is a very high news for the GBP. So on Thursday, we are looking at the board interest rate decisions, and we're also looking at the jobless claims on the US. We're also looking at the PPI producers index for on Thursday by 1:30. So what basically are these news? We need to get the news into consideration. We need to know what to expect, so we know how we are going to be reacting from the news. So if I'm a fundamental trader, I need to know this news, so I know what I'm going to be, the time I'm going to be trading. And if I'm a technical trader, pure technical trader, which is what we advise all beginners traders to be, they don't need to know the news so they can avoid what to expect. And finally, on Friday we have not really much important news, but on Friday we have the CPI on the euro. We also have the GDP growth rates coming on Friday, and finally we have the GBP trade balance. Now back to our charts on the DXY. What are we looking at? We are looking at an overall bullish trend. So DXY is still pertaining with our previous week analysis. We are still quite overall bullish. As you can clearly understand that the market has been creating some series of higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. That's what the market can clearly see the market create some series of higher highs prior to our last week. Remember, the analysis of the weekly time frame hasn't really much had any change from what's happening last week. So I think this video is gonna be really short. We are definitely going to be avoiding the weekly time frame because it's the same thing that has been repeated and no specific price that apart from we can just see, we only see one candlestick close. So on our previous week, if you can remember clearly, what we said on our previous week was we are experiencing a bullish trend, and what currently the market is giving some bearish correction. Now remember what we said in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, take out time to go through the video. We are experiencing a bullish trend, and what we are currently seeing now is an overall bearish overall correction. We clearly see the market has been stuck in between this low. It hasn't taken out this low at this point or taken out that high. So we are still basically at a particular level, as we cannot yet confirm the overall direction in the DXY on our weekly time frame. Heading on to our daily time frame, our daily time frame will give us a little more bit of information because we clearly have at least some candles that have been printed. And on our daily time frame, we could understand that looking at the present market data, we're not going to be focusing on much previous data today, but let's look at the overall market structure. The overall market structure is telling us that we are quite bearish. Okay, the overall market structure is telling us that we are quite bearish, as you can clearly see the market create some series of lower lows and lower highs, 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 lower lows. And at this point, kind of liquidity sweep occurred at that point where we had a lower low and a lower high and a lower low. So basically on the DXY overall we are on a bearish time frame on the daily charts. Now if we zoom in on our charts, if you zoom in on our chart to look at what's currently happening at this particular price data, we could understand that we are stuck in a range as the market is finding it difficult to take out these highs here, and the market is also finding it difficult to take out this low here. So basically on current price data throughout the month of April, we have been stuck in a range, and we are also starting the month of May with some range. Okay, so basically we are actually in a range, but we want to put in some little price action inside that range. Inside that range, we could be able to identify some price action happening. So inside the range, if you want to put in what we are seeing, what we are looking at, we will understand that we have what a break of structure has been formed at this level. So we have a break of structure has been formed there, and we have a supply zone that's created at the top there. We have a supply zone that's created at the top there that had led to a liquidity sweep, which was what I say and what we expected to happen last week. Remember in our last week daily time frame, we highlighted this out as liquidity, although we could be expecting market reaction from that. The higher probability of what we should expect is for the market to have a liquidity, which the market happened. We can understand that this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, and on Tuesday the market shifted the liquidity. So basically, our analysis, our expectations from the previous week played out. So even if you are placing a trade based on what we are telling you guys, based on just the analysis, you should probably be making profit at the end of the week. That's for specifically for swing traders, all right? Now, looking at our chart, we could understand that we are still quite bearish, although that the market is trading above this low here. We still have this low here, and we also have this low here, which the market is currently trading above it. Which on the daily time frame we could not really give a specific price data on the daily time frame. And we could look at on our 4 hour time frame. Our 4 hour time frame is going to give us a very more insightful view of the chart. On our 4 hour time frame, we could understand that on our 4 hour time frame, we understand that we had this bullish correction. Remember in our previous week analysis, we had a demand zone that seated at that point there, which we expected the market to give that reaction to the demand. The market gave a reaction to the demand zone, and the market give the correction and come back into the overall created supply zone at the top. The market was currently reacting from that level there after I took out liquidity. Now, flowing with what we are currently seeing on our chart, we could understand that we have a liquidity sweep at that point. The market has taken out this low here where we have the change of character being confirmed. We could clearly see the market take out this low there, which confirms that our internal market structure still holds. Our internal market structure still holds. We clearly see the market take out this low there, which we understand that we are seeing a change of character, and we are expecting more push to the downside. We want to see the best opportunity on the DXY for this week is we want to see the market come back to mitigate this supply zone at the top there. All right, we want to see the market come back because we have the change of character as we confirmed. Market hasn't filled in the gap that it left. The market needs to fill in those gaps. All right. So what we're going to be seeing is what we're expecting is for the market to give a push from probably the top side into the supply zone there and continue to move to the downside. That's going to be our expectation on the forward time frame on DXY for our bearish sentiment. And looking at the bullish side of the market, we are not going to just be looking at just bearish. We're not looking at both the bearish side and the bullish side. And the bullish side of the market, we should be expecting that we have some series of liquidity created at that point. There's a high probability that the market can decide to take out that liquidity and give a push to the upside. So there's a high probability of that happening on the DXY. So the DXY, this is our 4 hour time frame expected. Our expectation on the 4 hour time frame. We have seen the bearish side. I have also seen the bullish side. So the next we are looking at is the Eurusd, and we're not going to be looking at the weekly time frame for this particular week because it's literally the same price data that's been occurring. So we're going to be ignoring the weekly time frame for this particular week till probably next month. All right. Now on our daily time frame, we could understand that overall we are still quite bullish. On daily time frame, we could understand that we are still quite bullish. Where we could see the market create series of higher highs and higher. We could see the market create series of what higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and what higher low. And currently we are currently created a higher high. Now if you look at what's presently happening, the overall market structure is a bullish trend. But we want to focus more on what's currently happening on our chart. You could understand that you can also agree with me that the market has been stuck inside this range. Market is finding it difficult to take out that high with a significant break of structure or a candlestick break, and also the market has been stuck inside this low. Although that we can actually put in some clear definition to what's happening inside that range on the 4 hour time frame, because currently on the DXY, sorry, on the daily time frame is not giving us that clear position. We want to put in some technical tools on our chart. We understand that we can see a break of structure at this point. We have this break of structure that has been formed there, and we also have our demand zone at this level. We have a demand zone at that point there. We also had another break of structure formed there, and we also have a new demand zone created there. So currently, market is currently taking out structures to the upside, but it's not that significant. We cannot be seeing it very clear on the daily time frame because we are not seeing any candle break. We are just seeing weak close. All right, we're not see if we see a candle closure, it gives us more confirmation that yes, we should be expecting those buys. All right, on the 4 hour time frame, head to our 4 hour time frame to get a clearer insight of what's happening on our chart. On our 4 hour time frame, we can understand that we are, if let's see on the 4 hour time frame, we can understand that we are still stuck inside the sort of range. If you want to make the range to be more detailed and more defined, you could remove this lows there, and we are seeing that we are actually stuck in that range. Market has been stuck in that range, but if we can still put in some technical tools on our chart, you understand that we had this quick V-shaped recovery when market gave big of structure and mitigated, and we had the quick V-shaped recovery. Market had a supply demand flip, and so we had a supply zone created at that point there, which created a supply demand flip. So market created a supply demand flip at that point there, and we currently have a demand zone at this level. We had demand on that level there. Market gave a change of character. As a best, the market gave this change of character here when market took out these lows there, and we currently traded back inside this demand zone. We currently traded back inside demand zone. Our expectational order flow is for the market to take out. It has given a sharp reaction to that demand zone. So our expectation is for the market to take out that high there and probably come give a scenario of that nature. So that's our expectation on the Euro USD for the bullish side. And for our bearish side, our bearish market structure, we could understand that we have a whole lot of liquidity. We have a whole lot of liquidity seated at these levels there. We have a whole lot of liquidity at that level there. Expectations can also be that this can be a supply demand flip in formation. All right. So there's a high probability for the market to create a supply zone at that top there and take out the low. So except that happens, we are still very bullish on the Euro USD on the forward time frame. Except you could see the market take out this low here, then our sales are not yet confirmed. The only time our sales will confirm is if we can see the market take out this low. And over to our next pair, which is GBP And on our GBP we were seeing a very strong bullish GBP for the past week. My GBP tend to gain very strong value. It didn't gain move. It had some bullish movement in the market on GBP Now, overall, we are still bullish. Remember, we are still bullish on the GBP If we want to go around it, we understand that we are clearly the market creates of higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, and a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and finally what a higher high. So that's what we are seeing on GBP We are stuck in an overall bullish trend. But we wanna zoom out to what's currently happening on our charts. On our chart here, currently look at what's happening on the chart there. We could see putting that we are still quite bullish. I want to put in some technical tools. We would say that we all agree that we have this break of structure at that point there, and we also have our demand zone created at this level there. We also have some sort of liquidity seated around that demand zone, making that demand zone to be not that valid. All right, it's not really valid, but this is what we want to put in some technical tools. You see that we have liquidity at that point. So on our on the GBP our high expectation is for the market to give a push back into the demand zone, give some sort of reaction at this level there, and continue pushing to the upside. That was the expectation on the GBP on the daily time frame. And head on to our 4-hour time frame to get a better view of what to expect on the market. Our 4-hour time frame is where we tend to have a better view of what to expect on the market. So on the 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see mitigation happening on our chart. We can clearly see the market has mitigated demand zones. Like if you see in this scenario, we had our demand zone that was created there, which the market mitigated perfectly. We also had another demand zone created at that point there. The market mitigated it perfectly well. We also had a new demand zone that was created at this level there, which what the market mitigated it perfectly. So market has been mitigating demand zones and giving that push to the upside and all whatnot. So on our GBPUSD, on the 4-hour time frame, doesn't really have much stories on it. On the 4-hour time frame, we can overall see that we are still very bullish. We are still quite bullish on GBPUSD, and we are expecting some buy side momentum, some strong buys to happen on the GBPUSD. So what we're expecting is for the market to give a push, probably to the liquidity to the downside and continue moving to the upside. That's our expectation still remain the same from the 4-hour and the daily time frame. The expectation still remain the same. Now, for the bearish price data, remember we are not going to be looking at the bullish side alone. We're going to be looking at both sides. That's the price we buy and we sell. So we're looking at the both sides. Now, on the bearish price data, our expectations for this chart is for the market to take out this low there. Then probably it can also give a reaction to that. Okay, let's say, let me delete that. It can give a reaction to this demand zone and give a supply demand free. That's the high probability of that happen. The high probability of that happen. And what happened is that there's a high probability of that happen, or for the market to give a push from that level there, take out these lows and continue moving in that same direction. So this is our expectation on the GBP on our 4-hour time frame. The next we're looking at is the US30, which is our last bet for today. And if we look at our US30, I'm gonna do some traders coming from our daily time frame, we could say that, and we could all agree that US30 flew with what we were expecting for the previous week. Remember, US30 has given us what we are expecting from the previous week. If you look at our chart there, we could, if you haven't seen last week's video, take out some time, go over last video so I can learn a little bit more. So on the US30, we could clearly see that market took out this low there. We have been currently stuck in a range. Okay, let's first of all put in what we are seeing. We are currently been stuck in a range where we could see the market find it difficult to take out those highs there, and the market has also find it difficult to take out these lows there. So we have been currently stuck in a range on the US30. Alright, market has traded inside that range. Now when I put this on technical tools, you could understand that we have our supply zone from our previous week. We had a supply zone at that level there, which we had some series of liquidity that we wanted the market to sweep. The market showed the liquidity to the top side, gave a change of character, indicating that on the US30 we are still gonna be very, very strongly bearish for this week. Alright, because we clearly understand that we have a break of to the downside. Market came back into a supply zone and also gave a change of character. A change of character has been seen happening on the US30. So we have a change of character at that point there, making this supply zone a valid one. Making supply zone what? A valid one. Our expectations is for the market to give a push into the supply zone at that level there, give a reaction and continue moving to the downside. That was our expectation on the US30, alright, on the time frame. Now head on to our 4 time frame to see if we can get more details on what to expect for the chart. On our 4 time frame, it's giving this bullish trend. Alright, on 4 time frame, it's not correlating well with the daily time frame. On the 4 time frame, we clearly see market create series of higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and what? And higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, and finally what? A higher high as it forms. So on the 4 time frame, we clearly see market create series of higher highs and higher lows. Now, putting in more details on our chart, we could understand that we could see a perfectly formed change of character. This change of character is very, very perfect. Remember in our previous video we talked about what change of character is. A change of character, like we said, is the first indication that tells us that this market is about to shift structure. It's about to move from either the bullish scenario to a bearish scenario, or from a bearish scenario to a bullish chart. Alright, so we have our change of character has been formed at that level there, and we currently the expectations still remain the same because we are coming from a higher time frame supply zone, which is the daily time frame supply zone. I remember higher time frame is always what? King. Higher time frame is always going to be king. Alright, so our expectations are still remains the same. And for the bearish side, now for the bullish scenario, on our bullish chart, what we're expecting, we could see a change of character has been formed in the middle of nowhere. We could see a change of character has been formed there, and we still want to add in some mitigation. We can see that the market mitigated a demand zone from another level there. So now daily time frame, to look at the buy side, we have a change of character for the market took out this low and so took out that high, and currently whatever we have here would be set to be liquidity. This is going to be probably be liquidity of swing high liquidity, which we're going to be talking in video this week. We're going to be explaining what liquidity is. Currently our expectation for the buy side, market to come back into that demand zone. If the buy scenario will happen, we want to see the market give a pushback. We want to see the market give a pushback into this demand zone and continue moving to the upside. So with that being said, those are our analysis, what we're going to be expecting for this week so far on the following pairs: DXY, Eurusd, Gbpusd, and US30. If you found this video educative, don't forget to leave a like button and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for those who stayed to end this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. I'm gonna see you guys next week as we're gonna be looking at the video after. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope you learned a thing or two. Have a nice day.